All right, everyone get ready because today we are doing a deep dive on, you guessed it, the Swiss cheese plant.
Or, as it's known in the plant world,
Oh, right.
Monstera.
Monstera. Yes, those trendy plants with the holes in the leaves. I
Exactly.
mean, everyone's got one, right?
Yeah, they're everywhere these days, and for good reason. They're
Yeah.
beautiful. But we're not just here to admire their looks.
Yeah,
We're going deeper.
we are going in.
We're going to unpack the science behind this fascinating genus, and we got a great Wikipedia article all queued up as our guide.
Okay, let's do it. So, the Swiss cheese plant, the Monstera, where do we even begin with a plant this popular?
Well, I think a good place to start is with the name itself, Monstera. It actually tells us a little something about the plant's distinctive look.
Oh, how so?
The name comes from the Latin word for, get this, monstrous or abnormal.
Monstrous. Wow, that's a bit dramatic, don't you think?
Well, they probably didn't mean it in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's more likely referring to the unique, oversized leaves that monsteras are famous for.
Makes sense. Those leaves can definitely be pretty huge, especially compared to other houseplants.
Exactly. They can grow up to 3 feet long.
3 feet, that's almost as tall as I am.
And they have this striking leathery texture, usually a rich, dark green color, very eye-catching.
They are. I will say, I've always been a little intimidated by the whole tropical plant parent thing.
Right.
You know, I'm more of a succulent person myself, but the Monstera, I don't know, it just calls to me.
They do have a certain allure, don't they?
They do. And those holes in the leaves, I mean, come on, how cool is that?
It's funny you should mention the holes because they actually serve a very practical purpose.
Wait, really? I always thought they were just for looks.
Nope, they're all about survival. You see, in their natural habitat, which is tropical rainforests, monsteras often have to compete for sunlight with other plants.
Right.
And so those holes, or fenestrations as they're called in the plant world, allow light to filter through to the lower leaves.
Oh, that is so cool. So it's like a built-in skylight system.
Right.
So even the leaves at the bottom get their fair share of sunshine.
Precisely. It's a brilliant adaptation for optimizing photosynthesis in a shady environment.
Nature is so smart.
It really is. And speaking of clever adaptations, did you know that monsteras are what we call hemiepiphytes?
Maybe. Okay, you're going to have to break that one down for me.
Sure. A hemiepiphyte is a plant that can root in the soil like a regular plant, but it can also climb trees using aerial roots.
Whoa, hold on. So you're telling me that those monsteras we see in pots, all domesticated and stuff,
Yeah,
they have a wild side. They could be climbing trees right now if we let them.
that's exactly right. They use their aerial roots almost like hooks to latch onto tree trunks and climb higher and higher.
My mind is blown. I always thought they were content just hanging out in their pots.
Nope, they've got a bit of an adventurous spirit.
I love that. It's like they have this whole secret life going on that we never even knew about.
Exactly.
And speaking of secrets, I heard a rumor that Monsteras might have another surprise up their sleeve, or should I say up their stem.
Oh, you're talking about the fruit.
Yes. Is it true? Does the Swiss cheese plant actually produce something edible?
It does indeed. Monstera deliciosa, the most popular species, produces a fruit that's said to taste like a combination of peach and pineapple.
Wait, hold on, peach and pineapple. That sounds amazing. Like a
Yeah.
tropical vacation in your mouth.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm.
But I should mention that the fruit needs to be completely ripe before you can eat it safely.
Oh no, there's always a catch, isn't there? What happens if you eat it too early?
Well, unripe Monstera deliciosa fruit contains calcium oxalates, which can cause some unpleasant reactions, like irritation and swelling in the mouth.
Ouch. Okay, duly noted. Always wait for the fruit to be perfectly ripe before taking a bite. But still, how cool is that? This plant just keeps getting more and more interesting.
I know, right? You think you know a plant and then bam, it hits you with the edible fruit.
Right. So we've got monstrous leaves, secret climbing skills, and now delicious fruit. What else could there possibly be to discover about the Monstera?
Well, remember how we mentioned earlier that there are actually 59 different species of Monstera?
Yeah, 59. That just blew my mind. I can barely keep track of all the houseplants I have, let alone 59 different species of one.
Right, well, it turns out it might actually be more than 59.
More. Seriously, how many Monsteras are out there?
We might have to consult our Wikipedia article again on that one. But the point is, this genus is full of surprises.
More. Seriously, how many Monsteras are out there?
Well, the Wikipedia article dives into all that. It mentions there are at least 70 accepted taxa.
Taxa.
Taxa that include species and subspecies. But for now, let's just say the Monstera family is big, and I mean really big.
Okay, you've got me hooked. With so many different types of Monsteras out there, what are some of the most, I know, the most unusual or unexpected members of the Monstera family.
Well, we've talked about Monstera deliciosa, but have you ever heard of Monstera adansonii?
Adansoni, okay, no, I can't say that I have. What makes this Adansoni stand out from the crowd?
Well, it's pretty popular too, actually.
Okay.
And it's got these cool, almost lacy leaves. But unlike deliciosa, it actually has a bunch of different subspecies.
Oh.
Yeah, each with its own little quirks and variations.
So it's like the Monstera with its own posse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Monstera gigas, which, as the name suggests,
Aegis. Okay, that one sounds impressive.
it's a giant. Its leaves can grow to be absolutely massive.
Oh, wow. We're not talking like bigger than a dinner plate here, or
Much bigger. We're talking leaves that can reach over 3 feet in diameter.
3 feet. That's insane. That's like a small coffee table. I can only imagine what it must be like to see one of those in person.
It's quite a sight. It really gives you a sense of just how diverse and impressive the plant world can be.
It really does. But speaking of diversity, with so many different types of monsteras out there, I imagine it can be pretty easy to misidentify them, right?
You're absolutely right. Misidentification is a really common problem in the plant world.
Especially these days with everybody, becoming a plant parent.
Exactly. Everyone wants a Monstera, but not everyone knows exactly what to look for.
So how can you tell if a plant is a true monstera or just a really convincing imposter? Is it all about those holes in the leaves?
The holes can definitely be misleading, for sure. Some people see a plant with holes and they automatically think Monstera.
Right, me.
But there are other things to consider too. You have to look at the overall shape of the leaf, the texture, the way the stem attaches to the leaf, even the growth habit of the plant. It's all about the details.
So it's like detective work almost.
It is. You have to gather all the clues before you can confidently make an ID.
I like that. So what's the best way for us non-experts, the amateur plant enthusiasts like myself, to avoid these Monstera mix-ups? I mean, I don't have a botany degree or anything, so what's the best way for us non-experts, the amateur plant enthusiasts like myself, to avoid these Monstera mix-ups? I mean, I don't have a botany degree or anything.
You don't need a degree, just a good eye. Seriously, a little knowledge can go a long way. Like we talked about, pay attention to the details. Look for those aerial roots. Check out the texture of the leaves.
Okay.
Monstera leaves usually have that kind of leathery feel.
Right, right.
And don't just assume that any plant with holes is a Monstera, all right?
Got it, got it. Be observant. Channel my inner plant detective.
Exactly. And hey, if you're ever unsure, there's no shame in doing a little research, right?
Oh, absolutely not. There are some amazing plant identification apps and websites out there these days.
Exactly. So many resources.
Yeah.
It's really amazing how much there is to learn about the plant world, even just about one genus like Monstera.
I know, right? We've only just scratched the surface here today, and I'm Ricky hooked.
It's fascinating stuff.
It is. We started with those iconic hole punch leaves. Then we learned about their secret life as climbers. Then the whole edible fruit thing.
It's a plant of many talent.
It really is.
Yeah.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners today?
I think it's that the natural world is full of surprises, even in the plants we think we know.
Well said. So next time you see a Monstera, don't just see a pretty plant. See a survivor, see an adventurer, see a source of deliciousness.
And maybe a little bit of mystery, too.
Always a little mystery. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive on the amazing Monstera. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And remember, keep those plant detective skills sharp.